WPHT.
Today, Mark Cuban said there are no strong or intelligent women around President Trump.
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever.
Well, the women at Trump campaign headquarters here have a few words for Mr. Cuban and Kamala Harris.
Mark Cuban thinks that women who support President Trump are weak and dumb. I'm here to tell you that I'm a working mom. I work for President Trump, and I have already voted for him.
The world has found out that Kamala's campaign is not all about women empowerment, like she says. Do I look weak to you?
Kamala Harris sent Mark Cuban out to mansplain to half the country. Sorry, Kamala, I'm proudly supporting President Trump.
Hey, Mark, you remember me? Last week you asked me if I wanted to take a picture with you. Not only are you arrogant, but you're misogynistic too.
Mark, I have one question for you. Can you define what a woman is?
Mark Cuban doesn't know a thing about strong women. I could beat you in a fight.
Biden thinks I'm garbage, and Mark Cuban thinks I'm weak and dumb. Well, guess what? I'm proudly supporting President Trump.
Mark Cuban thinks he gets to decide who's strong and dumb.
Yeah, feeling like a woman. This is like a happy hour for us. Hey, Dawn Stensland here. I guess I'm just a weak woman. Thank you, Mark Cuban. What a gift he gave us so that we have an excuse and a reminder of all the strong, smart, fabulous women who stand with Donald J. Trump. Present, I'm one of them, and my guest who needs no introduction, my friend Kathy Barnett, also Alina Haba. She'll be here at 11. Kathy, he gave us a gift, so I can't complain too much. This is from a party that cannot even define a woman, and they define what do you think about what Mark Cuban said, and does it really have an impact as the Vice President Harris now splaining Biden with his garbage, first in the beginning of the week, the garbage statement, and now this?
Yeah, Mark Cuban, I mean, you're so right. I was laughing on your intro because he's not a biologist. Is he even allowed to define what a woman is? I don't think on their side of the aisle, if you're not credentialed, that you're even allowed to even, determine who's a woman, who's not. But Mark Cuban, he's irrelevant, and unfortunately, he really wants to be inside the quote unquote cool kids club. He is peddling his warriors everywhere he goes. He's just going from one show to another, and he's just spouting off, what he believes the other side wants to hear. And because there's very little fact checking that's done on the other side, they allow him to say these things. He get a pat on the head, and people applaud, and he feels good about himself, right? But we know it's false. I saw him the other day talking about when Donald Trump left office, inflation was the highest it has ever been. That's a blatant lie. Mm-hmm. When Donald Trump handed over the economy to Joe Biden in 2020, what was it? Yeah, 2021. Mm-hmm. It was the inflation was at 1 point. I think it either was 1.6 or 1.8%. But again, he's irrelevant. Who cares? I'm more concerned with these numbers that are coming out of early voting.
And concern about the numbers. We were talking earlier this morning, Kathy, on Kale and Company about I think it was an NBC analysis, but I think everybody was picking up on the same thing, that the issue of women voters. Is that what you're concerned about, or what?
Well, I mean, issues with women voters only because, there are a number of white progressive women who are just hell-bent on aborting their children. And so to that extent, with that narrative, yes, I feel, a little bit concerned. But I'm just looking at just kind of the early voting. Now, what's encouraging is that when you look at the early voting, the number of Republicans who are early voting this year in 2024 versus 2020 is up 8%. That's a good thing. The number of Democrats this year versus 2020 is down 7%. My concern comes in when I look at that, we're up 8%. How many of those 8% are low propensity voters? versus people who are already going to vote next week. But because one of the strategies coming out of the Republican Party is vote early, and they're sending people like me a text encouraging me to vote early, although I'm a sure vote, that is my concern. And when I look at the breakdown by counties, I'm looking at the number of, our strategy should have been chasing down these mail-in ballots, but I'm looking at the final numbers that are coming in, and there are a lot of Republicans who did not return their mail-in ballots. So will we see those people next week? I don't know.
Well, part of it is, and I know that the lawsuit that was filed, and this was filed in Bucks County, so that because they rightfully filed the lawsuit in Bucks, because it was viral, we were talking about it all week, that people, were standing in line for hours in Bucks, could not vote, even though they were in line before 5. And thank you to the judge who rightfully said, okay, you're going to have until Friday, 5 p.m. I would submit to everybody that I wish they had filed that and made it so for Delaware County and Montgomery County, because there were issues in both of those counties. But I just think it means, Kathy, that a lot of people, even if they got the mail-in, they either stood in line or saw the lines, and now they said, nah, you know what, I'm just going to vote on November 5th. At least that's what we hope, right?
Well, yeah, and we can hope, and I am certainly praying, fasting, hoping that we must win. And this is such a consequential election. I wish we could go off of something a little bit stronger than a hope right now, because we've had since 2020 to correct some of the very things we're watching play out once again. I ran in 2020. That was my first time ever running for office. I lived through 2020. I know exactly what they did. I've never wavered that it was theft. Democrats stole the election. Now, they didn't steal the election with just one thing. I call it a theft by 1,000 cuts. It was everything. These people are so diabolical. They had every base covered, one of them being what they did in 2020. They just had these benign-looking people standing outside with a little lanyard on talking about, I'm here to help you. And because I'm black, I guess they assumed I was a Democrat, so they came over just very eager to help me back in 2020. Guess what? They have these exact same people out there today. So it's not as if we don't know what Democrats are doing. I'm just, we're locked into this strategy. It's too late to do anything different. I am just very hopeful. I wish we could go off of something a little bit more hopeful, meaning that Republicans would have learned our lessons from 2020 on and would have put a lot of things in place.
But part of it, I think, Kathy, is a couple. Well, first of all, I think that the lawyers, the GOP, RNC lawyers like Linda Kearns, I talked to her yesterday, but she's, we interview her all the time just to get the updates, but they've filed more than 100 lawsuits, and including the one in Bucks County that was a win, but they have had some significant wins, and they're also keeping these individuals on their toes. You don't think that has had an impact?
Well, hopefully, right? Well, we will see. I mean, you and I are watching the long lines. Yeah. We're watching people being intimidated. We're watching people being told to leave, to go to another location, and people are scurrying around trying to figure out where to do it. So, okay, great. But I'm just saying this is what we're watching. And Donald Trump must win. I believe all of our chips are, we're locked into this strategy now. Coming from the Republican higher-ups, and I'm just hopeful at this point, which, there's very little else we can do.
I also think, and the reason, I have to say I cringe when anybody says 2020 was stolen. The reason I cringe is that I worry, and you and I know people, Kathy, I worry about this, that people say, you know what, my vote doesn't count. They're going to, quote unquote, steal this again. So what I often will say is, last time around, I do think Republicans, even at the state level, agreeing to loosening the rules. I think they've tightened those up as far as mail-in balloting. And as well, you have a lot of these RNC lawyers. I would prefer to say Republicans, and we all got played. And I think this time, I will say the RNC lawyers at least have been smarter about it and filing these and watching it. But you know what else, Kathy? I think everybody is so passionate about it. What I saw was we the people, grassroots. That is what provoked these lawsuits and created tangible evidence. And so if everybody, even on Tuesday, go to the polls, I keep saying, make sure your phone is charged. And if anything, whatever's going on, record it. Make sure that you're rolling, you're recording, walking in there. If somebody's intimidating you, put it out on X, on all social media, and call it out immediately so that it can be investigated. Because I think people people are sick of getting played.
I absolutely agree from the perspective of the grassroots. I think the grassroots has had it. And I think we're going to see a different group of Republican voters show up on next Tuesday. Whereas in 2020, I remember very clearly people being told to leave even during the counting of the ballots, and people just walked out and just, didn't stand their ground in their position with their authority to actually view the counting of the ballots. This is what I mean by theft by 1,000 cuts.
Yes.
It was just a number of little things that just kind of culminated in something really shady going on in 2020. And I believe this time around, next Tuesday and the days following that, we're going to see a different group of people on the ground. And so, but it's locked in. I am excited. I will be one of those people who will be voting on the day of. I am voting strictly Republican all the way down the ballot because I believe what the Democrats are offering is just untenable. Who in their right mind would vote for open borders? Who in their right mind would vote for these, I've been doing a lot of reporting on this Venezuela gang, the TDA, that's coming in and taking over whole apartment complexes, raping and murdering people. I mean, who in their right mind would vote for that?
Kathy, there was just a 5-year-old little girl raped in New York. And sure enough, it's the same story. An illegal person who they had arrested was in custody at one point, and they let him out. And it's just a 5-year-old little girl. And these stories are headlining. I'm looking at USA Today that you have these scooter robberies. You have Venezuelan gangs. You have these stories are front and center for people. How much of an impact do you feel that is going to have?
Well, I mean, again, I think for those who are aware, it's going to have a great impact. So people like you and I, we're going to be there. These things are in the forefront of our mind, the transitioning of our children, the indoctrination of our children. These things are in the forefront of our mind. However, you really do have, and it is true, we have a segment of the population that, I mean, I don't know if you saw the latest Kamala Harris commercial where the wives are being encouraged to be conniving towards their husband. I mean, it's just, again, it's conniving, it's evil. It's like who would intentionally harm their own family, and yet this is one of their campaign strategies.
I think it's
to
stupid.
Encourage women to be conniving.
But do you think, as far as women who are, the white woke suburban woman, right? I don't see these women being silent or feeling like they have to be. I see the opposite. Usually the husband's like, I don't want to talk about politics with my wife or my girlfriend. But I don't even think it rings true. Do you think it rings true?
Which part? That they're conniving?
Yeah, no, I mean, in the commercial, it's saying, it's like, don't ask, don't tell.
Right. You know what? I mean, like, they're just creating a narrative, right? They're creating a narrative that people like you and I are garbage, that we're deplorable, that if Donald Trump is Hitler as Harris has accused him of being, what does that make you and I? When Hitler I mean, Hitler was a Nazi. So what did that make his supporters? And so, so they are creating narratives about who we are, that you and I are weak and stupid women. And likewise, they are creating another narrative that for these woke white suburban women, that their husbands are fled Flintstone, and that he's dragging them by their hair, and they're forcing him, that he's forcing them to vote a particular kind of way. That's not true. But unfortunately, I believe there are some women who believe this stuff. And I would just encourage, if you have a white, suburban, woke, progressive woman in your family, in your life, pick up the phone, bring some coffee, sit down, and have the uncomfortable conversation. Do it with a smile on your face, but get in their face, as one of the black Democrat Congresswomen said. Get in their face. Make them listen to you as a family member. Sit down, have that conversation with them.
I want to ask you about something, because Greg Stocker, my boss, and Kill and Company co-host, teases me that I keep bringing up some different voters, such as the Amish community. So we know that the Amish community makes up, in the Commonwealth, I believe we have the largest Amish community in the nation.
We do.
92,000. Friends keep telling me that the Amish are activated. That I know that Don Jr. when he was here, he was they've been stumping in Amish country. So do you think that the Amish vote could tip the balance here?
It did with Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Now, for the past maybe 8 years, my family and we drive out to this Amish family home, and we have been purchasing our meat from them for like the past 7 or 8 years. And I have a great relationship with those within the Amish community. When I was running in the 2022 race, I went to the Amish community. They brought me in this room. It was standing room only Amish people, and they introduced me as she has our values. These people are very, contrary to what you may think, these people are very intelligent. They are on top of what the issues are, and they recognize that there is a very real threat. If someone like a Hillary Clinton or someone like a Kamala Harris should take office, there's a real threat to their way of life. And to protect their way of life, they did come out in 2016 and voted against Hillary Clinton for Donald Trump. And I believe when I talk to these people today, they're talking about the issues. They're more up to speed on the issue than most people I run into and talk to on a daily basis. They understand what the issues are, and they're very aware of the threat.
And some of the billboards, even there's one right now that it's a big blue billboard, and it just says, "Pray for God's mercy for our nation." It has the kind of straw hat that they wear with a vote like banner on it, call for, telling them to please, apply, make sure they're registered. And so I just wonder how much, I had reported, for example, on Amos Miller, the farmer who was raided by the feds. And then as soon as that case ended, raided by the state. I mean, with these SWAT looking, they looked like they were SWAT team, armed to the gill, had raided the farm, shut down Amos's farm. And I felt like, man, this community, they must have felt invaded by the government, state government, federal, right? I mean,
and let me tell you, I have never seen sweeter people. I mean, my children have worked on their farms with them. They have done little homeschool outings for us. We've had dinner with them in their home. When we drive up, they put my children on their little wagons and they go up and down the road. I mean, just a beautiful group of people who have a very definitive worldview about themselves and their place in the world. And let me tell you, we have the largest Amish community here in Pennsylvania. They are very aware and they will be voting. I know that as a fact. And so don't count them out, Greg. They are listening and they are paying attention. And I earnestly believe that they are going to be voting. They did in 2016. I will never forget that. I was a part of that community at that time. So I remember the conversations they were having.
And then what about the Christian vote? Because we've seen a Christian vote, senior citizen vote. So for Christians, I keep seeing all these studies and also Second Amendment people, 30% of gun owners just don't vote. Christians, and I'm talking about specifically born again Christians who say, I guess maybe they've lost faith in the system. I'm not really sure. But do you think that we will see higher numbers among those groups?
I am hopeful. Again, I am hopeful. Again, this is reason. I mean, listen, to go door to door and to do an earnest grassroots effort. I mean, I spent 1,500 miles every single week when I ran for U.S. Senate. That is a grind. It is not sexy. It is not, no one knows your name. You're not all over television and you don't really fundraise a whole lot off of it. So I understand why Republican consultants would not, be really into it. But we have to get in front of these people. Again, it's too late for the early voting, but each and every one of us, you look around you. I would tell people all the time, make a cup of coffee, go across the street, talk to your neighbor. We have to talk to our neighbor. This concept of a silent majority is ridiculous, and I believe it is a counter strategy from the left to make us think we have to just be silent and grin all day. No. Make a cup of coffee, go across the street to your neighbor, talk to 5 neighbors between now and next Tuesday, and make sure people, if they have any questions, if they have any concern, especially these Christians, especially the ones who want to clutch their pearls because only they are perfect and no one else is, and they can't abide by voting for an imperfect person. We're all imperfect. There was only one perfect person. And we're not electing Donald Trump to be Jesus or to be our Christian pastor or our pope or our bishop. We're not asking him to do any of that. What we're asking him to do are very unique things. That is to uphold the U.S. Constitution. That is to defend us domestically by securing our border. And that is to exude strength around the world. Right now, Dawn, I can name 17 different wars just off the top of my head that America is involved in one way or the other all across the world. We are literally in World War III. No one's just talking about it because they want you to believe aborting your child is the number one issue. It's not. We have very real issues right now, and you being able to abort your child just simply isn't one of those top 3 issues. But we have some very real issues, and it's going to pivot one way or the other almost immediately once this election is over. So we need to get very real, very serious. We need to get the fear of God in us and start walking outside, talking to our neighbors.
Amen. Preach it. Kathy Barnett, until next time, my friend, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dawn.
You're the best. You always make my day, made my Friday. Kathy Barnett. Make sure that you're following, you're subscribing. Love her podcast. Great guests that she has. And she still tells me she's not going to, I keep saying, when are you going to run again? We got to get her to run again because she'll win. But we will have, by the way, remember, Alina Habba will join me at 11, another strong woman. And she has been on the campaign trail here in Pennsylvania and across the nation with Trump. We had Vivek Ramaswamy. I should ask Kathy about that. There's so much. Vivek Ramaswamy was in Westchester University. So that was just yesterday. A lot of excitement there. So much breaking. I'll give you some breaking news right around the corner. I have to take a quick break. Thanks for being here. It's Friday.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. One of the biggest, healthiest sales of the year is back again. Rescue Natural Supplements Black Friday sale is here. Right now, Rescue is slashing prices on every supplement with discounts up to an incredible 80% off. Rescue has a wide variety of products to address your health needs, including immunity and cholesterol support, heart health, and natural energy enhancers. Grab huge savings on omega-3s, probiotics, and a lot more. And one more thing, this Rescue Black Friday sale will run the entire month of November. So shop today at res-q.com, res-q.com, or call a Rescue product consultant at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Again, all Rescue supplements are up to 80% off during the entire month of November, so why wait? Shop massive savings on essential supplements right now at res-q.com. Do it today.
If you're looking to furnish your home or replace your old furniture, your journey begins and ends at Bucks County Estate Traders. One piece of advice, make sure you have time when you come here. The 58,000 square foot showroom is a furniture wonderland. Quality high-end pieces with inventory changing daily. It's all here. Mid-century modern, traditional, vintage, antique, and name brands. They'll ship anywhere, or you can pick up in-store. Bucks County Estate Traders in Hatfield, or at buckscountyestatetraders.com.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie, your radio doctor. Every Saturday afternoon at 5, I talk with doctors and medical specialists from around the country to discuss the latest information about heart disease, cancer prevention, topics in women's health, pediatrics, mental health, and more. Then you can make better decisions for yourself and your loved ones. Your radio doctor, Saturdays at 5, here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, because your health is your wealth.
I'm Jalen Hurst here for Window Nation. If you're a fan of saving money, listen up.
Right now at Window Nation, save 50% on all window styles, plus 0 interest for 5 years. Hurry, sale ends November 30th. Call Window Nation today to schedule your fast, free, in-home estimate, or visit windownation.com.
Don't pay more than you have to for new windows. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
The 2024 presidential election is here. With the race neck and neck and with so much at stake, MSNBC has the in-depth coverage and analysis you need. Our reporters are on the ground, and we're breaking down the numbers until every last vote is counted, providing you with insight on what it all means for the future of our country. Watch coverage of the 2024 presidential election Tuesday, November 5th, and listen to MSNBC Live on the free Odyssey app or wherever you watch MSNBC.
Free speech lives here on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
I want you to think about the names, the future generations of Republicans and conservatives. Look who's campaigning with Trump. Look who's endorsing Trump. Look who's supporting Trump. And you want to hear this. Dan, the great Dan Borowski, our executive producer, finding some great audio that I know you're going to love this. But let me just say these names for you. And the audio is with Senator J.D. Vance that Dan's going to play in just seconds away. But listen to these names in addition to Vance. Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek Ramaswamy, Congressman Byron Donalds, Wesley Hunt, Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And y'all put in there Senator Marco Rubio, Alabama Senator Katie Britt. So this is the future of the Republican Party. And it's a diverse group. I mean, by ethnicity, by their gender, all of that. And they come from diverse backgrounds, many of them with backgrounds in military service. But the future for the Republican Party is looking fantastic. And try to name those, think about all those names. Try to name that many names on the other side of the aisle. So they don't have the star power, in my humble opinion. Trump, really, if you think about his run for president how he is elevating all of these different people who are superstars in the future. And so for me, I look at a very bright future as far as Trump winning on Tuesday, as well as Dave McCormick. I believe McCormick will eke this out. I think that one will be close. And I know that it's a horse race. Nobody is calling these. They're still too close to call. But I believe that there is momentum in our country right now that is for Trump. And these, the McDonald's thing that happened here in the Bucks County area, and then that garbage truck maneuver, I thought it was brilliant, but I think it plays well with the public. And then you look at the other side with, first of all, Kamala Harris still not doing these long form interviews. Thank you, Joe Rogan. But just in general, you don't see Kamala Harris reacting, pivoting, the flexibility. You're not seeing that. And in fact, now, thanks to Joe Biden's garbage comment earlier in the week, and now Mark Cuban's comment, you see the Harris-Walz campaign. I know Tim Walz was in Pennsylvania yesterday. And Joe Biden will be here in Philadelphia today, by the way. But you don't see the reaction, that it's a strong reaction, and you don't see the ability for Harris to pivot away from this stuff. So I think the momentum is also on the side of Republicans. Dan, I know you want to get to this awesome.
Yeah, so we're coming up on a break here, so I thought maybe we'd play a clip and then do a couple more after the break. Is that okay with you?
Cool.
Yeah? So first up, J.D. Vance appeared on Joe Rogan yesterday, and I love these Rogan interviews because I think they do such a good job at speaking to a younger audience. Like yesterday.
3 hours.
3 hours, and I listened to a good chunk of it with Maisie last night, and I went back and I asked Maisie, what was the part that really sold you on J.D. as a human? It was actually near the beginning, and that's what we're going to get into, is him talking about his kids, but throughout the interview, there was, drops in Joe Rogan's mic, and they leave everything in completely unedited. So you hear Joe, arguing with his producer as to get this mic working. We have a vice presidential candidate here in the studio. I love it. It's so relatable. And in this kind of forum, you get moments where JD can just show his side of relatability and humanity that the guy has. He's just such a normal, down-to-earth guy. So here he is telling the story, Dawn, about when he was picked as the vice president. Trump actually called him, made a joke. Take a listen.
And so I had no idea. I get the call around 1 o'clock at Milwaukee time at the RNC convention. I'm hanging out with my kid. Another one of my kids is in the other room asleep because, our kids are young, so they nap still. And he makes this call, and he's like, hey, do you want to be my vice president? I was like, oh.
Was it literally just like that?
Well, actually,
yeah, right? Could you imagine getting that call?
Be awesome.
Right?
What happened is I get a text message from a staff member on his team that says you just missed a very important phone call. And I don't know, because there's so much inbound traffic that I think it just went straight to voicemail. So I call him back and I'm like, hey, sir, what's going on? He said, JD, you just missed a very important phone call. I'm going to have to pick somebody else now. So I'm about to shit a brick here. And then he says, no, I'm just kidding. Obviously, I want you to be my vice president. And the funny thing is, my 7-year-old is in the background and he has no idea what's going on. And I love that, right? It's one of the good things about this. He has no clue what's going on. He's like, Dad, who are you talking to? He's talking about Pokemon cards, right? And Trump hears my son in the background and he says, well, who's that? And I said, that's my 7-year-old son, you. And he's like, put him on the phone. And I'm just anxious for him to get this statement out because in my mind it's not final until the statement is actually out. And he talks to my son and he reads the statement that he is going to put out on Truth Social announcing that I'm the VP nominee of the Republican Party. And he's like, what do you think about that, Ewan? And my son Ewan's like, oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And then he gives the phone back to me. He's like, I have no idea what the hell's going on. And it's funny.
What that means.
Yeah.
I just love it. And it really paints a different picture of Trump. Well, not a different picture of Trump to us because, if you follow Trump like Dawn does, like I do, we know him as the kind of guy that does say, hey, pass the phone over to your 7-year-old. I want to run something by him real quick. Just it's a fun story to tell. And there's more after the break, Dawn, but your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I, as you know, I love Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And at first, I had a little pit in my stomach. I just was like, oh, Trump should have picked Sarah, or Elise, or somebody who's a little better known. And I did, although I love the book Hillbilly Elegy, I love his backstory. Yeah. I like him as a senator, but I didn't know him as well. And as I've gotten to know him, and especially there's a behind the scenes documentary, the only crew that's been traveling with Trump, and even when he was here in Philadelphia, the behind the scenes of everything. And you see J.D. Vance behind the scenes with Trump interacting. And I love that interaction. I love at one point after the debate here, that was a 3-against-1 debate, you see J.D. Vance coming up to Trump and he goes, that was bull Essie, right? And I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, right.
But then he says, here's what they're going to do. And he immediately jumps in and says, but here's what they're going to do. Here's what they're going to blah, blah, blah. And I loved that energy they had, but I loved that J.D. Vance is somebody who is just so grounded, like nothing rattles this guy. I think he is a terrific personality and energy to be right there with Trump. And somebody earlier on the YouTube chat, and I apologize, I forget who said that, said, oh, I hope he's not a Pence. No. That's not what this is.
No.
And he's humble, he's youthful, and I think he's also...
He's funny.
He's funny, but he's also a born-again Christian as well. And so I think he's got Jesus in there, and I think that's a good thing, too. I'm just going to say it. He's got that faith aspect.
He actually explains in there when he talks about faith, because they really go into it. It's fascinating. They go into the whole transgender woke ideology and how it really reflects religion. And JD reveals that a couple years ago he became Catholic, was Christian for most of his life, and a couple years ago converted to Catholic, and actually makes an analogy to Catholicism. It's really good stuff that they really covered a lot in this fantastic interview with Rogan.
So we'll hear more then, and I put on the YouTube chat, give me if you have a specific question you would love Alina Habba to address, make sure you type that out in our chat, because we got our chat going on. But I hope that you consider coming away with me. Maybe we'll have a celebratory visit to paradise, talking about the Italian Riviera on a gastronomical event that only Conservative Tours can deliver. Join me 11 luxurious days with the professionals from Conservative Tours. And trust me, they are the best tour operator in all of Italy. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Portofino, Rapallo, Santa Margherita Ligure, Tuscany, and the brilliant Cinque Terre. $53.78. Yes, that includes your airfare. Dining events at the wineries in Tuscany, even an authentic farm visit to see Parmesan cheese being crafted by hand. Call toll-free now, 888-733-9494, 888-733-9494, or you can just go to conservativetours.com. Scroll down, you'll see the itinerary, pictures, hidden Italian villages you've never seen, like Giacomo Puccini, San Gimignano, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, Florence, Milan, and concluding on the Lakes region with Bellagio, Orta, and Isola Bella. Join me next spring in Italy. See you in Cinque Terre, conservativetours.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
You may have heard, Wawa has pizza. And right now, Wawa has pizza at a really great price.
Wawa has personal pizza for a night of gaming.
And it's only $6.
Wawa has pizza for when we don't want to cook.
And a 14-inch is $8.
Wawa has pizza for after practice.
A 16-inch to feed the team, $10. Right now, get a personal 14 or 16-inch Wawa pizza for just $6, $8, or $10. Wawa has pizza for all at a really great price.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Kamala backed Biden on everything. She was the deciding vote for his disastrous economic agenda. Kamala and Joe raised taxes on the middle class, and prices soared. Kamala was in charge of his open border policies, giving welfare to illegals while Americans struggle, and their weakness invited wars. Now Kamala wants to double down on failure. It's time to turn the page on Joe and Kamala's failed agenda. President Trump fights for you. His strength kept us safe. Trump cut taxes for families. Prices were lower and the border secure. Now, President Trump can do it again.
And we are going to launch a new golden age of American success for the citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
Remember, Kamala broke it. President Trump will fix it.
I'm Donald Trump, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Donald J. Trump for President 2024 Inc.
Wawa's hot turkey is back, and it's bringing the comforting flavors of the season with it. Sink into savory stuffing, cozy up with sweet cranberry sauce, and relax into some warm, buttery mashed potatoes. Grab your pillows and blankets because hot turkey is back. Plus, get your cozy cravings satisfied from the comfort of your bed with $0 delivery when you order on the Wawa app. Try the Wawa Gobbler today in a hoagie or bowl for a limited time. Gotta have a Wawa.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-837-5050. That's 800-837-5050. 800-837-5050.
Woohoo! Another girls' night out. I'm so stressed from shopping, I couldn't find anything. Have you tried shopping jewelry television? JTV? I don't know. Everyone in my family is so different. JTV has thousands of jewelry styles. Artisan, diamonds, pearls, colored gemstones, watches, even gift sets. I shop on TV and online.
New JTV customers save up to $40 when you shop jtv.com/radio.
Now, can you relax? Yes. Another round? Yes.
Hey girl, it's your new night guy, Jimmy Fallon in the house from 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and free on the Odyssey app.
There is so much going on, and just a heads up, if you are heading this to Philadelphia at all, there are already traffic closures that are happening. Aikens Oval is shut down, for example, all around the Art Museum, and that is because the Harris campaign will be here in the Art Museum area on Monday, on Election Eve. And so what it means for today, Aikens Oval, and then day by day, after starting today, more closures, so that by Monday, I think Kelly Drive, they're saying Kelly Drive, that doesn't make sense, but I imagine parts of Kelly and MLK might be affected by this. And so a lot of road closures, unfortunately, Monday. So just a heads up that, make sure you have Waze on, or you listen to our sister station, Traffic on the Twos, that sort of thing, because there's a lot going on traffic-wise. And then I haven't heard if, once again, the 9,000 AFSCME, largest union here, blue-collar workers here in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, I should say, they authorized that strike vote, and they are not happy, so they've been picketing around City Hall. So just a little traffic heads up for you. And then I don't have the itinerary for Biden. I know Biden will be in Philadelphia at some point earlier today, so a lot of traffic closures and traffic headaches. And that's not the only headache that I think many voters are dealing with. We want to get to Tim in Yardley, who can give us an update on what's going on, what's it like to be in line in Bucks County after the RNC had the victory, and a judge did rule that you in Bucks, as long as you're in line by 5 today, you will get to vote. But I'm sorry, Tim, it sounds like a frustrating day.
Yeah, Dawn, thanks for taking my call. I guess the first thing to point out is, do they have to keep those open till 5? Well, it's 4:30 in Levittown if you're in line. So we have to be really careful in that language and whether they can cut the line. The other thing is, I got a call from somebody. They said there's 200 people in front of them. They've been in, it's got to be 45 minutes now. The line is moving extremely slowly. Yeah, and it looks like there's 2 workers inside and a very long line.
See, and what I don't understand is that, and I hope Linda Kearns is listening, because, so first and foremost, the reason it was extended, Tim, as you know, is because people were turned away or told that even though they got in line before 5 or 4:30, that was on Tuesday, that the judge ruled by law that people were in line, they were there, and it's not their fault that enough people weren't hired. And so, yeah, it brings up the question, are they just going to keep extending it? But my attitude is, why in the heck aren't they bringing people in with clipboards, handing things out while you're standing in line, the expediters that you would see? Think of Chick-fil-A.
I think they're slow walking it. But the issue goes on. The issue happened 10 days ago, right?
Yep.
I mean, I told you my daughter was in line, 3.5 hours turned away. Her girlfriend was 5 hours in line, turned away. It's been going on the whole time. So I don't know what we can do except let you know, and hopefully Linda's listening, and they can do something to sort of process. And I have a public service announcement, if you don't mind. If you check the Bucks County Board of Elections website for the status of your mail ballot, okay, it'll tell you when they received it, when they processed it, when they mailed it. If you go on there and it has not been mailed yet, you can still vote today. You can go to the early voting center and say, hey, I didn't get my mail ballot. I'm not taking any chances. You basically cancel my mail ballot order, and I want to vote right now in person. People can still do that. So anybody out there who has not received their mail ballot yet, you can vote today. You just got to get in line before 4:30. Yeah, and people are doing that.
And to Peter M., thank you, Tim. Thank you for all that information. I really appreciate it. I will text Linda and others during the break real quick when we come up, because I want them to know this is going on. And this way, again, hopefully they work out all these wrinkles and let these various places that apparently a lot of them are run by, maybe they're run by Democrats, and maybe that's part of what I'm hearing, that this is on purpose, or you perceive that this is being done on purpose to either intimidate Republicans, which is having the opposite effect. But that's the claim that's going on here, and the belief that people feel that. I hope it's not true. I'm just reporting it the way you're reporting it, and your feelings matter. Isn't that what we always hear? Well, it's how you feel, so that's the reality. Isn't that what we always hear until it's us, our side, when we feel it? So we have to, put this out there. So I'll make sure. Yeah, Peter saying the lawfare in PA by Democrats was bad in 2020. I would agree, but we can't get played. We cannot, no matter what we believe happened in 2020, I want it to have the opposite effect on anybody that feels like, oh, my vote does not matter. Yes, it does. And that's why it's really important that everybody speaks out right now to say, this is what I'm seeing. And even on election day, that's why it's important to vote earlier, so that we call this stuff out and make sure that the lawyers get involved and boom, record it, have tangible evidence. Because remember, here's part of this that they keep saying, well, Republicans or Trump, they're claiming all this stuff. But you see, if they had all the video, all the tangible evidence, then it would be hard to refute, right? So that's why we have to be smarter. And so it's important. Also, if you feel like you can't stand in line today, remember, just if you already have the mail-in ballot, if you do have it, just go and take that, and you can still vote in person on November 5th, right? So you know that. Thank you, Timothy. I appreciate it. All right, we've got more JD Vance. We've got so much breaking I want to get to real quick around the break, but I got to talk about my friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles, and they really do feature the very latest in luxury vehicles from today's top brands. I'm talking about Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, Land Rover, BMW, Porsche, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, and so much more. These models, as you probably know by now, have sleek new designs, innovative features powered by the very latest in technology. So they have thousands of new and certified pre-owned vehicles available right now across dealerships in Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey. Piazza Premium Automobiles stands out. Visit PiazzaPremiumAutos.com, Piazza, PiazzaPremiumAutos.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Dreaming of a new bathroom?
Emmons Remodeling can turn your dreams into reality.
From modern shower or bath surround upgrades to complete remodels, our team of designers and remodeling construction experts deliver stunning results. We use high-quality materials to ensure that your bathroom will look great and last for years to come.
Call us today at 856-885-6677 or visit online at callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
The following is a paid commercial message.
27 years in politics has changed Bob Casey. He's just not the same anymore. In Washington, Bob Casey voted to let biological men compete against our girls in their sports. And Casey introduced a bill to force hospitals to perform sex change operations against their beliefs. Letting men compete against our daughters? Forcing hospitals to perform sex changes? It's just not normal. But that's how liberal Casey is these days. Casey also voted for higher taxes on seniors' Social Security benefits, too. Casey even voted for a bill that could raise out-of-pocket drug costs for seniors. Higher taxes on Social Security? Raising drug costs for seniors? Come on, Casey. It's just not right. Bob Casey's gone way too liberal for Pennsylvania. After 27 years, we need a change. It's time to fire Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-727-9105. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
So I'm texting Linda Kearns, so I'll ask those questions. She's the RNC attorney who has been one of them who's been very successful with, making it so that we have transparency and that, we're trying to balance out some of the injustice that has happened, that is proved. Let's listen in. So coming up, you are going to hear from the beautiful, brilliant Alina Habba. She is one of those women that I guess Mark Cuban thinks is the lesser and stupid. And because, Cuban, we've talked about this, is getting ripped a new one. Here's Alina Habba, attorney.
I just got off a plane, so pardon my delay in responding to Mark Cuban's disgusting misogynistic remarks. Some reservos. Michael Cohen on 3 levels. Just confirmed and denied by the Supreme Court of the United States. I'm licensed in 4 states. I graduated college in 3 years. Savage v. Trump. By the way, I could keep going, but those are the cases I win. And your left-wing media and your rhetoric, and you're putting women down. See, President Trump doesn't do that. He surrounds himself with strong women like me. So Mark Cuban, you can go to hell. I'm voting for Trump because I want my daughter to never, ever be around people that speak like you do.
Amen, sister. So that's Alina. By the way, my friend Val Biancanello, she just texted me talking about responding to some of what we've been saying, and that some people are going to go to the polls on Tuesday dressed in a trash bag to say, yeah, I'm a garbage Trump voter. I love that, Val. Thank you for that. So she's saying there's no more silent majority. We've been awakened. And by the way, Val is another good example. She posted that video with Michael Watley and just saying, hey, you know, we're getting the word out. And here's another strong woman supporting Trump in Val and saying, you know, I am out of the closet. I am speaking out. I am strong. I am woman. And I am voting Trump.
State committee woman and a delegate to the RNC.
Here's
And
Val.
so what I do is I try and get the vote out. And I finally succeed in getting our voters to vote by mail in person. And unfortunately, they had to watch me get arrested for exercising my First Amendment right. Lots of voter suppression happening in Delaware County and throughout Pennsylvania. And it's unfortunate. You know, we should have free and fair elections. And this is why it's so important to elect Donald J. Trump as our next president.
Thank you, Val. Thank you, Laura Trump, Michael Watley. Remember last time, Ronna was, I think, having a spa day, maybe getting a facial, you know, so they're not doing that this time around. Alina Habba is just around the corner, so stay tuned. And on the YouTube chat, you can put out your questions if you have a specific question. So much ahead. Thanks for being here. It's Friday.
This year's election may determine the future of Social Security.
Jim O'Neill, Huntington Valley, Pennsylvania. I have my doubts about where we're going as a country. My concerns with the election and the economy are that much of our Social Security funding may dry up in 7 years, 10 years, which is not good for the citizens who paid into that system. With the crash-proof retirement system, I can supplement or even replace Social Security and not deplete my nest egg. It's guaranteed. This year, I have earned over 14%. We do not have to pay any fees, and you cannot lose it. I am election proof because no matter what happens in this election cycle this year, I am protected by crash proof retirement.
Election Proof Your Retirement Future. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Springfield Country Club, November 20th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
I'm Tahisha Way, New Jersey's Lieutenant Governor, with a message for New Jersey voters. You have 3 voting options in the general election. Vote in person on Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th. Vote early in person Saturday, October 26th through Sunday, November 3rd. Or apply for, complete, and return a mail-in ballot. Whatever you choose, vote by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November 5th. Details at vote.nj.gov.
Medicare is making important changes in 2025. Independence Blue Cross can help. Our Medicare Advantage plans include premiums as low as $0, dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage. The deadline to enroll is December 7th. Visit ibxmedicare.com/radio. Independence Blue Cross offers PPO, HMO, POS, and HMO Medicare Advantage plans with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Independence Blue Cross PPO, HMO, POS, and HMO Medicare Advantage plans depends on contract renewal.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
They don't call her Confiscation Kamala for nothing. Don't take it from us.
And I support a mandatory buyback program.
A mandatory buyback program? That means the government forcing you to turn in your firearms. To what lengths would Kamala go? Well, she doesn't even support the individual right to own a firearm.
I'm prepared to take executive action and put in place a ban on the importation of assault weapons into our country.
We get it. Sometimes it's tough to understand what she's talking about. But on the Second Amendment and your rights, Confiscation Kamala has been crystal clear. Her gun control agenda comes straight from that petri dish of bad ideas that is California. She can claim to be a gun owner all she wants, but we all know she's the same anti-gun California radical she's always been. Don't be left defenseless. Defeat Confiscation Kamala. Vote Trump like your life depends on it, because it does. NRA Political Victory Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. NRAPVF.org.
Choosing the right candidates for any office can be difficult.
My office has lots of drama.
My office has its ups and downs.
I share my office. But no matter what kind of office you have, one thing's for certain. If you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds the most qualified candidates for your roles fast, and you can invite your top choices to apply. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, for any kind of office,
I'm really going places in my office.
My office has everything you could ever want.
count on ZipRecruiter to find the right candidates for it. Try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, it's Greg with Kale and Company. The NBA is back, and FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge Casinos, America's #1 sportsbook, wants you to catch all the action. Right now, FanDuel is giving everyone, let me repeat that, everyone, 3 months of NBA League Pass. All you have to do is catch every tip-off and buzzer beater and place any $5 bet on the NBA to get 3 months of NBA League Pass. Let me repeat that again, 3 months of NBA League Pass courtesy of FanDuel. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Greg, FanDuel.com/Greg to make every moment more this NBA season. By the way, if you want to bet on the Philadelphia 76ers futures, will they make the championship? Will they make the playoffs? You can do it all right there. $5 bet. You get 3 months of NBA League Pass for free. FanDuel.com/Greg. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA and the official partner of 1210 WPHT. 21 and over, President PA. After a 3-month free trial, the full price of League Pass will be automatically charged monthly. Cancel anytime. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Limit 1 pass per customer. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It all comes down to this. Election night. The election of our lifetime. What will happen? Where will the problems and surprises be? Will Pennsylvania decide who the next president is?
No matter our differences, when we work together, there is nothing that we cannot achieve.
Be here for our election night coverage starting at 7 p.m. with Rich Cioli, Jimmy Fela, Don Stensland, Nick Cale, and Dom Giordano. Plus Walter Sterling into the wee small hours. All live, all local. Election night starting at 7 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app.
You may have heard, Wawa has pizza. And right now, Wawa has pizza at a really great price.
Wawa has personal pizza for a night of gaming.
And it's only $6.
Wawa has pizza for when we don't want to cook.
And a 14-inch is $8.
Wawa has pizza for after practice.
A 16-inch to feed the team, $10. Right now, get a personal 14 or 16-inch Wawa pizza for just $6, $8, or $10. Wawa has pizza for all at a really great price.
Hey man, come here. You're not gonna believe it. I picked up this beautiful model. She's down here.
A model?
Yep, got her from the train store.
In your basement?
See?
Oh, model train.
Whew. Yeah, what'd you think I was talking about?
Nicholas Smith Trains. Become the conductor with any model you can imagine, from classics to new releases and holiday-themed engines. Don't forget to visit Nicholas Smith Trains and Toys this holiday season. NicholasSmithTrains.com.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
So we do have a new jobs report. These always come out on a Friday. Do you ever notice this? The day after Halloween. Isn't it always it's just a coincidence. So this is brutal. 12,000 jobs were created last month. Far fewer than the 100,000 jobs that economists had expected. And 46,000 manufacturing jobs were lost last month. And that reporting, by the way, comes as breaking news this morning from CNBC. Okay? So that's not a far right-wing report there. It's coming from the jobs numbers, you can collect those off of all the government sites. So I have that as well. But CNBC putting that out there, that it's a brutal jobs report and coming out right before, we have the November 5th election next Tuesday. But I will say it's one of those news jumps on a Friday morning. Just a coincidence. I'm just saying. Margaret, thank you for putting that information out, that you live in New Holland and that the Amish are in play, and that you have your husband's a driver for the Amish and the Mennonites, and they did have a meeting last night. They are activated, if you will, by what has happened with Amos Miller being persecuted, and I've called it that. It's a political persecution They claimed, although didn't produce the evidence, that Amos Miller, that his huge farm that has a huge following, people subscribe to it, and I have friends and family who also do. And Amos Miller, they were trying to shut him down, put him out of business, saying, "Oh no, your milk caused salmonella poisoning or sickness or this or that." And they said, "Really, where?" They're fighting it, obviously. But I think that the fact, the image of this nice Amish family and their farm being, hovered, and then these activated, at the state level, basically, people all armed and geared up, coming in like a SWAT team and shutting them down, treating them like they're the cartel members or something from Venezuela, which we do see that is a reality. But no, they're raiding an Amish farm. Give me a break. Give me a freaking break. And yeah, so good job. Good job. And that's the Shapiro administration, by the way. And now they've activated the Amish. And this is a lot of people who feel like all they want to do is they want to be left alone, period. That's it. But now they see the government persecuting them. No. And shutting down their way of life. So we have a lot of this. We'll also get to, and let me know when we have Alina Habba. We're waiting her. We're going to have her in just a sec. But I will tell you that Nate Silver is coming out, and he's blasting pollsters, saying they're purposely skewing the numbers, something he calls herding. But they're skewing the numbers, he says, because they want to make it look like it's close. So I think that Nate's numbers showing that Trump is 55 to 45, that's what he's polling at, that Trump gets 55% of the vote and that Harris gets 45% of the vote. But I think that, to me, I keep saying, don't take this for granted. I'm glad that people are saying it could be close, because everybody needs to get out there and vote, swamp the vote. And so I'm not exactly sure, because my husband actually, thank you, Larry Menti, just texted me with that Nate Silver report. He was on there furious that they're misreporting it. But I actually think that plays well for Trump and for Republicans, because we don't want anybody staying home. We want to make sure that people know that if you do not vote, you are voting for Harris. Okay? Look at this latest jobs report. Look at the economy. Look at what's happening. Look at Title IX, for crying out loud. We do have Alina? Okay, great. Hey, Alina Habba, thanks for joining me this morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing great. I was, my husband just texted me the Nate Silver information where he says, hey, this is not even close, but the news media wants you to think it's close. We also have in our YouTube chat, just so you know, Alina, that one of our loyal listeners and watchers on YouTube says she lives in New Holland, and the Amish and the Mennonites are activated. That because of that Amos Miller case, that the Amish are activated. They're waving Trump flags on their buggies, and they are going to vote because they feel the persecution by Democrats.
Yeah, welcome to the club. Look, they've been literally hitting us every single day with more content to just be fodder. If you look at Joe Biden and his stupid comment calling us garbage, and then you look at Mark Cuban and his comment yesterday calling the women around President Trump weak, stupid, etc. I mean, they couldn't be making their own bed in a worse way, I'll be honest with you, as if the economy wasn't bad enough, as if Americans weren't sick and tired of all of this already. We now have another layer of nonsense every single day. And we're winning, and that's the truth. And I keep saying that. We've been winning in the courts. We're winning outside of the courts in the polls, because the American people, including the Amish, are triggered by what they're seeing, the decisions that are being made, and seeing the left, radical left, which is frankly what Kamala is, for what they are. And we're tired of it. It's been enough already for 3.5 years.
I didn't realize you went to Widener. I didn't realize your Pennsylvania ties until I saw you. Yeah, on the campaign trail. So you do have a lot of ties to Pennsylvania.
Lehigh University, Widener University. What was Widener University? Now it's called something else. But yes, I do. I have ties there. I have family that lives in Pennsylvania. You know, it's a important place for me, and the last rally I spoke at, I said that was one of, you know, my sister went to Muhlenberg in Allentown, but PA is a place that I called home for a long time, and I know that the PA that I'm seeing now when I'm on the road, people are waking up, they're voting, we're getting more voter turnouts ever, even though we see cheating, and we already have seen cheating, we're catching it. But, you know, we need everybody to vote early, get out there, make sure you take people with you, because we cannot win without the votes, and that's the truth.
You know, people keep saying, you know, the headlines keep saying, oh, there are more women voters, and they assume that all these women are voting for the Democrats, are voting for Harris. And I keep pushing back on that, Alina, because I keep saying, you know, I'm voting for Trump. I know so many women who are voting for Trump because, first of all, we are moms. We care about this Title IX issue. Nobody's talking about Title IX and this change that's happening, and that it has activated a lot of women who were never political before.
Listen, I've said it, and I make a point of saying it at the rally. I'm not just Trump's lawyer. I'm not just a senior advisor to his campaign. I'm a mom, and I don't like what I'm seeing. And trying to have boys in women's sports, boys in bathrooms with my girls, and vice versa, by the way. I have boys, too. I don't want it. I don't want it, and I also don't want my boys turning into girls because some teacher influenced them. I'm not having any of it. And, you know, I'm not shy about my religion. I'm a religious person. I believe in God. I believe in two genders. I do have no problem with the LGBTQ community. Actually, I'm speaking at it tonight. But I will say this. Trump is a unified person, but there are limits, and parents have rights. And we have to keep our children safe from all kinds of indoctrination and creeps, and that's my number one priority. That is why I switched to the campaign, is for the future of America, and those are our children.
The cover of the New York Post, say it to their faces. Your face is among those with other, you know, Elise Stefanik and Melania Trump and others. Now the Harris campaign insults women around Trump as weak and dumb. And so do you think this, combined with the Harris campaign having to now go on the defense at the same time, President Trump is in that garbage truck, and then here in Bucks, you know, with the McDonald's, do you feel the momentum going into Tuesday?
Yeah, we do. And I will say one other thing. Women are usually my biggest fans. And women are usually always coming up to me saying, my daughter loves you. And that is the biggest compliment. Never mind Trump fans, but to have people say, you're, you know, we have such momentum in such a major way because America is tired of being put down now saying that we're a country in decline is not putting Americans down. It's saying our country is in decline. We got to fix it. And that's just the reality. Those are statistics. Those are numbers. Look at the economy. Look at the jobs. Look at the migrants coming in. Look at the crime. We have so much momentum, and frankly, we have them to thank for it because they just keep putting their foot in their mouth. And every time Kamala speaks, she doesn't talk about policy. All she does is insult Trump. So, yeah, the momentum's major. We're seeing that in the poll. Look at the poly market. Look at all of that. We've got people that are experts on this saying they see momentum like they've never seen. I'm hoping for a red wave. But I can tell you again, we got to get out and vote.
Yes.
I can say so much, but if you don't go do your part for us, we're screwed. So we got to save this country.
Amen. What about the storm-ravaged areas in the South? Are you concerned? You know, I know you've been campaigning all over here in Pennsylvania and Georgia, North Carolina, and so on. But is there a concern about that storm-ravaged area and people not being able to vote?
We've actually put several more additional polling areas for them to vote. We have stand-up areas that they can vote early. We have addressed that, the RNC meeting, and the campaign. There's really not a piece of this that we haven't tried to cover as best as we can. But again, it goes to the American people making the effort to get to those locations. We have put them up. Those storms that were unfortunate happened before voting. And we were able to rectify, you know, there's still a lot of work, and FEMA did a terrible job under the Harris administration, but we were able to rectify some civility in terms of voting. So, you know, there's online, if you can go to swampthevote.com, you can find out where you need to go to vote. And we have put up temporary locations to offset all the damage that these poor people have had to deal with.
More political persecution. Elon Musk, I know he wasn't personally at City Hall, Philadelphia City Hall. His lawyers were, though, in a courtroom fighting our DA, Larry Krasner. And I will tell you that even though I'm on the air from 6 a.m. to noon, my boss let me sneak out to get my teenage son a costume because he wanted to be Buddy the Elf. So I snuck out, ran down there, and literally as they were taking Elon Musk to task with that political persecution, there was a robbery. They just shut down the store, the Halloween costume pop-up store, and the women in there, all women workers, rattled, customers rattled. This is Philadelphia.
Terrible.
I know, it's crazy, right? And I couldn't, all of us couldn't help but think of that. You know what I mean? Here, like a couple blocks away, you've got our district attorney with the level of crime we've never seen like this on the streets as far as these, the effect of these kinds of crime, which I guess, Alina, in the stats column, they would say, oh, well, it was just, they stole some costumes. But if you could have seen the aftermath of these employees and customers, I mean, the women, their hands were shaking. Do you know what I'm saying? And
Well, of course, but that's the problem. Look at New York, another city just like Philadelphia. Their motivations are on political wins because these people they get excited when they disbar a Trump attorney. They get excited when they try and hit Elon Musk because he's trying to motivate people to vote. He's not telling you how to vote. He's telling you just vote. Get out and vote. And the crazy thing is that these DAs and AGs, and this is going to be something that I know the administration really is going to focus on, cleaning up politically motivated people in the courts and politically motivated attacks on your opponents. That's not the way we work in America. That's the way third world countries work. And you're forgetting the citizens that you are supposed to represent. These are elected officials, and you are voted by the constituents of these cities. And when you let them get ravaged and get afraid to walk home because you're too busy fighting Trump and fighting his friends because you want to get some political points from your cronies, well, that's just not American. Mm-hmm. And you're not taking your oath of office very seriously. So, that's going to be a big part of the cleanup, I think, come January 2025 when President Trump's back in.
As somebody who is, you're out on the campaign trail, you are a respected attorney in court with President Trump. I will say this to you, and I've said this from day one, all of these I'm not a lawyer. I have so much respect for you, Alina, but I've said from day one, all these cases go away. They all go away.
They have been, and they have been. And that was part of my thing with Mark Cuban, if you saw my remarks on X. And my thing was, and I've sat quietly for years as the Jimmy Kimmels, the Views, they call me stupid. You can't win a case. She's a loser. Well, guess what? I lost one case that I tried, and that case had already been lost, and I had to just do the damages portion. I hadn't lost another case for the president. I've actually won more cases than any other attorney on his team. Mm-hmm. But that rhetoric, that negative, she's stupid, she's this, she's that, it's a shame. And I want to see that stop because I don't do that to Biden's attorney, Hunter's attorneys. Mm-hmm. I don't find that I need to do that. I think that's low-level stuff when you're really pathetic and have nothing else to say. But I would like them to educate themselves. And I was actually happy Mark Cuban did what he did because I got to snap back at him and tell the world what I've been waiting to say for 3.5 years. Because when you make stupid comments like that, you're good. Listen, you play with the bull, you get the horns. I was so sick of it, and they have been going away. And we are winning. Just take a look at the Attorney General case in the appellate division, what those judges said to the AG's lawyers.
Yes.
They slammed them. It was viral. They were like, how dare you do this? You used a law that you should. The things I've been saying outside the courtroom steps, as everybody has called me stupid, dumb, a loser. The things I've been saying are true. And I want to see some apologies come out because as Americans, you have to be accountable. And you have to say, maybe I was wrong. Because the appellate division is saying they're wrong.
Yes.
And I've been saying it for 3.5 years, and I'm sick of it. Honestly, I am. But thank God we have President Trump. He's leading the charge. He has really been a champion. I'm so lucky to work with him and for the American people because he's given me that opportunity, truly.
Alina Habba, we have to let it go there. Thank you so much for joining me, and Godspeed.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thanks, Alina Habba. Isn't she great? And yeah, thank you, Dan Borowski, the great Dan, again, setting her up. But it just angers me that people say, I guess if she were ugly, maybe then they would say, well, she must be smart. Because they'll say, oh, well, he only surrounds himself with, hot chicks or beautiful women. Well, really? So now because they're brilliant and they happen to also be beautiful, you're going to assume something? How sexist is that, right?
I've dealt with tons of women in the Trump campaign, Dawn, and I am just astounded. I feel so stupid sometimes in dealing with these women myself, and you shouldn't. Thank you, Dawn, but I do. I do have a Polish last name. Let's remember that.
Stop.
But no, to hear those comments from Cuban, I mean, even as a guy, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, my wife, she's supporting Trump. She's a smart woman. She's a high-level accountant. It's crazy to think something like this. Yeah.
So thank you for booking her. I hope we can continue the conversation. But how many? And Jimmy Matthews he makes me sad because he goes, it's nauseating when you're saying all this about Trump and Vance. But part of the reason I think people like Jimmy, who I know is a good person, feels that is because he believes the news headlines, right, that tell us, oh, well, he's a criminal. He's done these horrible things. Trust me when I tell you this, all these cases, this lawfare, they're getting turned over, just like, attorney Alina Habba just said, but it influences people. And when the apologies come out, well, we'll see if they do, they should apologize to the Jimmy Matthews of the world. They should apologize to all the people who believed something that was based on a vicious lie. And this persecution, this weaponized DOJ, this is wrong. This is not who we are as Americans.
It's fascinating to see, and I don't want to use the term brainwashed, but it's hard to think that a lot of people, like reading Reddit a lot of times, and Reddit was just kind of exposed as having, a lot of influence by the Kamala campaign, but there are real people on Reddit too, and real people that actually believe that Trump is going to end the world, essentially, that Trump's going to come after, jail people, that he's going to throw them in concentration camps. It's nuts that they've got people believing this crap.
Well, I remember on the Zioli show way back 9 years ago, we were on afternoons, and he used to do like this whole bit with that because remember, it's, Trump, when they started getting serious, they started saying, oh, well, Trump, he's going to have the nuke codes. Yeah. We're going to end up in a nuclear war. Notice I don't say that anymore because he was president for 4 years and we had peace and prosperity.
Yeah, and there weren't concentration camps. I don't think they were, right?
But I think a lot of people say, 34 felony counts. You know what I mean? It'll all get overturned. But the truth is, a lot of people believe the so-called mainstream media. And so to me, this warrants FCC fines. And we need accountability. We need to restore our institutions, including medical institutions. Look at what Fauci, look at the pandemic. Look at, all of this. We should be able to trust. And so to me, and I say that even no matter what it means politically, we have to have that balance. I'm just saying. Yeah. 855-839-12.
Hey, a guy that's been waiting a lot today.
Okay.
John in Philly.
Hey, John.
He's been waiting in line. I don't want to keep him waiting in our line.
Oh, we don't want you to wait in my line. Thank you, John. Good morning.
Thank you. But call Habba back because in Doylestown they seem to be slow rolling the line here. I'm told there's only one printer working. There's no way they're going to handle everybody by Friday. This is the third day I'm here. This is ridiculous. This is voting. This is playing with votes. It's pretty obvious who's running the show up here. But all of us out here in line, mainly Trumpers, we're just standing out here. This is a waste of time. They're stealing our votes. Without stealing, they're still stealing up here. We need help. Nobody's doing anything. This is ridiculous.
And John, just because I had somebody else talking in my ear, where are you exactly? Tell me where that's happening because I'm going to call Linda.
It's in Doylestown.
Oh, you're in Doylestown. Okay. I'll tell.
Yeah. They extended it to Friday. Big deal. Right. Big deal. It means nothing if they're slow walking it. You mean the taxes We pay up here. We only have one printer working. I mean, really? Or whatever line of horse crap they're laying on. I mean, it's horrible. This has got to stop. And by the way, Trump's right to try bill is why my wife is alive, and I want the whole world to know it. That's why you should vote for Trump, because he gave us a chance. All right?
So this is...
I'm tired of this shit. I really am.
We got to talk. All right, John.
Sorry about that.
No,
we dumped it. We're good.
I love that you said that.
Kind of things.
And I want to hear
We're
more.
all emotion, man.
Yeah, I want to hear more from John and about that. If we can get his number, Jimmy, because the right to try. A lot of people don't even know this. Go ahead.
Gladly, I'll give you my number. I'll tell the world.
Thank you.
She's alive because of the right to try bill.
So
people, put your politics aside. Think about it. It's country over party.
And John, Trump has talked about this. He explained it at Drexel Brook. But can you just tell us what your wife's diagnosis was and how she's doing? I know.
Stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Pancreatic?
Stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Oh.
Thank God we're able to get drugs from other countries because the FDA doesn't want to allow it here. They don't want to talk about ivermectin. They don't want to talk about any of this stuff. They want us to take their poison crap. This is horrible. But she's alive now, 2 years now because of it, which she should be in a grave, but she's not. And people want to, oh, Trump's this, he's that. No, he saved lives. Wake up, people, because God forbid you're in my boat someday.
Yeah. John, thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless. I'm praying for you and your wife. And Dan, I know Dan and Jimmy are too. Thank you so much.
I'm going to call John back there.
Yeah, thank you.
A lot of outpouring of support, too. Will says, wow, Sue's love you, John, over on the YouTube chat. So,
stage 4 pancreatic cancer. My mom's best friend died of that. When she got the diagnosis, it was quick because that's a nasty one. And if you've heard Trump talk about this, how many, and it's estimated in the millions. People, if you're familiar with this, so Trump got everybody in a room. I wish I had this audio because I logged that actually the other day. He was at Drexel Brook. He explained the whole thing. He got everybody that needed to be in the room. He got them all together during his presidency. And he said, this is too important. So let's put everything aside. Let's make this happen. Because he's saying like the pharmaceuticals and whatnot. See, they don't want it. Like my mom, and if you saw her, you'd say, that's not your mom. That's your sister. My mom, Rosemary Dawn. That's where I got my name. In her early 60s, ALS, Lou Gehrig's, horrifying disease. If you know Lou Gehrig's ALS. And right away, we're like, aren't there any trials? Aren't there? And the doctors were saying, this thing called stem cells. And by the way, my mom loved Trump, loved him from the escalator on. And so, no, sorry, Mrs. Stensland, we can't, there's nothing for you. There's nothing for you. I just wonder, even looking back at, cases like that, where you're not allowed to have these experimental situations because the pharmaceuticals don't want that to weigh down the drug and then deny the approval, because that's how it all works with the government. And so Trump just streamlined it, got the most important people on the issue, got them all in a room and said, how do we make this happen? And that's exactly what John was talking about, that you would have a right to try it, and they're saving lives. It's incredible. And it's really a miracle. And that's the kind of thing somebody like Trump is willing to do. And that's why the swamp hates him. That's why they fear him. Are you kidding me? And so to the Jimmy Matthews of the world, where you're saying, I know there's so much that you don't like, but how do you deny somebody like John who's saying this is too important? Because God forbid your loved one is diagnosed with one of these diseases, they lose the lottery like my mom did. And at that point, the government says, no, sorry. And so that's the kind of thing that Trump is so good at. And he cares. He does it because he cares. 855-839-1210.
It's just an angle that you don't think of often, but wow.
There's so many of them.
It's amazing, Dawn. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I bet you that my mom, I know she's up in heaven. She's praying for Trump from heaven. You should have heard her. And you would say, Rosemary, born again Christian, and you would have thought she would have gone for Jeb Bush. And she said they're going to crush Jeb Bush. They'll make him look like an idiot, just like they made George W. look like. Remember that? And she said, right. Trump can break through. He can break through all of this. My mom was right. I know she's in heaven. He's got a lot of angels. Let me tell you. That's how he dodged that bullet that did graze his ear, but by the grace of God. So, Denise, I see your text. I'm getting texts from my Italy friends, and I'll see you tonight. To some of you, Denise included, and Mary. That's the thing. The last trip to Italy with Conservative Tours, I have such great friends. We're getting together tonight, a group of us, and that's just it. Lifelong friends. That's what you make. And we don't sit around talking about politics at all. So I don't want you to think that's not what this is. We talk about life and kids and have a blast together, have some wine, toast. But we're doing it again, so I hope you make sure you get in on this one, because the last one sold out pretty quickly. This is the Italian Riviera. This is a gastronomical event that only Conservative Tours can deliver. Join me for 11 luxurious days with the professionals from Conservative Tours. They are the best tour operator in all of Italy. And by the way, this is an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Where are we going? All different than last time. Portofino, Rapallo, Santa Margherita Ligure, Tuscany, and the brilliant Cinque Terre. $53.78, and yes, that includes your airfare, dining events at the wineries. Talk about memories from last year in Italy, but the dining events at the wineries were incredible, this time in Tuscany. And even an authentic farm visit to see Parmesan cheese being crafted by hand. Call toll-free 888-733-9494. Just go to conservativetours.com. You'll see the itinerary, even pictures of these hidden Italian villages that you've never seen before, like Giacomo Puccini, San Gimignano, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, Florence, and Milan. We will conclude on the Lakes region with Bellagio, Orta, and Isola Bella. Join me next spring in Italy. I'll see you in Cinque Terre. Conservativetours.com. Make sure you tell them Dawn sent you.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
One more day in the 80s. We might hit a record 84 today, though we will see some breezy conditions and an occasional shower. Now, for the weekend, we get mostly seasonal. Sunny, 64 on Saturday, 60 and sunny on Sunday. Good Eagles weather.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you ready for retirement? Have you prepared everything you need? Well, in Investor Schooling, we will teach you ways to better prepare for your retirement using real estate and the stock market. But you need to learn how to do it right, and that's what we teach. At Investor Schooling, we sell nothing but education. Come to Investor Schooling and learn how to have a better retirement. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now for this Thursday's class at 7 o'clock. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Kamala backed Biden on everything. She was the deciding vote for his disastrous economic agenda. Kamala and Joe raised taxes on the middle class, and prices soared. Kamala was in charge of his open border policies, giving welfare to illegals while Americans struggle. And their weakness invited wars. Now Kamala wants to double down on failure. It's time to turn the page on Joe and Kamala's failed agenda. President Trump fights for you. His strength kept us safe. Trump cut taxes for families. Prices were lower and the border secure. Now, President Trump can do it again.
and we are going to launch a new golden age of American success for the citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
Remember, Kamala broke it. President Trump will fix it.
I'm Donald Trump, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Donald J. Trump for President 2024 Inc.
You may have heard, Wawa has pizza. And right now, Wawa has pizza at a really great price.
Wawa has personal pizza for a night of gaming.
And it's only $6.
Wawa has pizza for when we don't want to cook.
And a 14-inch is $8.
Wawa has pizza for after practice.
A 16-inch to feed the team, $10. Right now, get a personal 14 or 16-inch Wawa pizza for just $6, $8, or $10. Wawa has pizza for all at a really great price.
Upgrade your bathroom with Emmons Remodeling.
We offer custom design, build, renovation services to fit your style and budget. Our designers work closely with you to create the perfect space for you and your family.
Experience luxury and functionality with the expert team at Emmons.
So call us at 856-885-6677. Again, that's 856-885-6677, or visit us at callemmons.com. From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
This is a commercial for California Psychics, America's most trusted psychic network. So, if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. No, really, this is it. You won't see your soulmate's face in the clouds or your career path mapped out in your cappuccino foam. This really is it. We could add some dramatic sound effects if you'd like. So what you waiting for? Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Don Stensland, weekdays 10 till noon, only on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And on the free Odyssey app.
The breaking news right now, as we have this court extension rightfully giving Bucks County voters, and I wish they had done this across the region, quite frankly, because I think people were caught in long lines in different situations where they were not able to exercise their right, no excuse voting with the mail-ins in other counties. But in Bucks, the phone lines have been jammed, lit up with many of you talking about these long lines, printers down. So I did alert Linda Kearns during I'm waiting to hear back from her, but I'm letting her know every detail that you're saying, because maybe they'll have to extend it further. I don't know what they're going to do, but I am reaching out, so we'll get that update for you. You know, we talked about this issue, and God bless you, John, in Doylestown, calling about, your wife and what Trump did with the right to try, with medications that are life-saving, that are not approved in this country. And that brings us to Steve in Bucks County with your own story. What happened to you, Steve?
Hello, Dawn. I'm a former school board member, council member, and I just like to share firsthand of what I know about Bob Casey. And a lot of people say he doesn't do much as a senator, but they say he's a nice guy, a good man, and he's not. Okay? And let me tell you why. Back when I was on the school board, when I first thought I was uncovering improprieties, okay, it turned out to be massive and pervasive corruption. That was 4 school districts in 3 counties. We came across things like double billing, triple billing, billing for no service provided, billing for service provided by volunteers. We obtained copies of contracts in Delco where they forged the signatures of witnesses. Illegal, unapproved contracts where hundreds of thousands of dollars are missing. And this investigation, and I still have the documents on this, by the way, this fell in the lap of Bob Casey as he was Auditor General in Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. What does he do? He drags his feet for 18 months. Then he comes out with a report saying it was nothing but sloppy bookkeeping. Okay, so they use Bob Casey's report to sue me. I get dragged through for 2 years. I get dragged through the court system, where a rogue swamp judge took everything away from me and my wife while she was dying of cancer. Okay? It was the most horrible. Our courts have been used to enable and protect corruption. They took everything. Last time I called up, I said the judge's name. I won't say because I got hung up on. But
okay,
it's happening out there.
I'm so sorry, Steve.
You're
I
the
will
first
check
person
into it. Thank you. That's just so sad. I'm so sorry to hear that. I think that we thought it was one of those right to try cases that he was going to be talking about, because in the call in our screening process, he was saying that, and I'm so sorry, first of all, that his wife was dying of cancer, and then to have the stress of something else layered on it. That's heartbreaking. But I did, like I say, I did reach out to Linda Kearns just to alert her to a lot of your concerns, because like I say, we've had the phone lines lit up as far as that goes. I know that Dan has been working on it. I'm sorry, I have sent you so much as far as the Nate Silver stuff. Who do we have here? Oh, sorry. So let's, is it my next interview? I'm sorry. I didn't see you were there. Cliff Maloney Jr. Cliff, thank you so much. I'm sorry I didn't see that you had called in. Hey, Cliff.
No, it's great to be here. Things are on fire here on the ground in Pennsylvania. Very exciting.
So tell me what you're doing, and tell me how it's going, as you are part of those, part of the army of, if you will, of people who are getting out the vote, and we thank you for doing this. Tell me what you're doing, Cliff.
Yeah, sure. So I'm the CEO of a group called Citizens Alliance, and we have a program specifically in Pennsylvania called the Pennsylvania Chase, or the PA Chase. Folks can learn more about it at pachase.com. But here's the skinny. We've got 120 full-time staffers that we've had on the ground since September 1. These are ideologically driven young people, very conservative. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to knock 500,000 doors in Pennsylvania to help flip PA red. And I'm happy to report on your show that as of this morning, we've now knocked on 415,000 doors.
Wow.
And I think the results, of us increasing the mail-in returns compared to 2020 for Republicans, while the Democrats are decreasing, I think it shows that what we're doing is working. We are not trying to bring election day voters and make them vote by mail. We are trying to get a lot of these low propensity, unlikely conservatives or unlikely to vote, but they are conservative. And I think the numbers show that we really feel confident about where we are right now.
And I should say about you, Cliff, and I should have said this off the top, so I apologize. But as far as where you cut your political teeth, I'd seen a great write-up about you that you actually started out with working on Senator Rand Paul's presidential campaign back in 2016. So it tells us a lot about who you are, that you at that point you were with Rand Paul. But, now as a political strategist, a commentator, CEO of Citizens Alliance, and what are you seeing with all of these individuals? What questions are you getting? And what are they coming? I mean, you're closing in on probably by election day, half a million perhaps doors knocked on. Are there questions being asked? Are there common themes, common patterns that, your team, your army of individuals are seeing and hearing as they're out there?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. And look, we track this minute by minute, right? I look at a daily report. We're looking at understanding who we're talking to, who our targets are. And we've got lots of partners, right? I do have to give credit. You've got Scott Pressler, you've got Charlie Kirk, you've got the RNC, you've got America First Works. We're all working together, right? We're all singing from the same song sheet. It's the first time I can say that. I've been in this, like you said, since 2016. I've been screaming about door to door. But now that this ballot chase and in certain states ballot harvesting is out there, you've got to adapt. So let me answer your question bluntly. I have never seen the type of energy across the board from all the people we're talking to. And look, this isn't a primary where I'm knocking doors and trying to talk to a Republican about a liberty warrior who's a constitutionalist versus a rhino. This isn't a general election where I'm out there trying to talk to swing voters. This is chasing ballots. So every door that you knock on, right? These are fun doors, right? People aren't slamming their, oh, yeah, it's Bob, listen, I know you got a ballot in there. We want to make sure you vote Republican up and down oh, yeah, I'm going to can you commit to sending it in today? Will you drive to the county office today and drop it off? Those are the conversations. But across the board, there's more enthusiasm.
Good.
And there's two demographics I want to highlight. Black men and all Hispanic voters.
Yep.
Okay, are we going to win them in record numbers? I'm not predicting that. But I'm telling you, from our conversations on the ground, because I have roughly 25 black ballot chasers on my team, and the feedback I'm getting from them about black Republicans, black independents, and even some of these moderate black Democrats, they're excited about Trump, and they don't like Kamala Harris. And it's the same thing across the Hispanic community. Okay. So I apologize for ranting for so long. What I'm going to end with is say, I think the political shift is before our eyes, and I think that it is being created by Donald Trump, and I don't know where the Democrats go after this election to try to put a coalition together. We're advancing, and we're gaining with everybody.
Well, listen, thank you so much, Cliff Maloney Jr., Citizens Alliance. I love that Charlie Kirk and Vivek Ramaswamy, they were in Westchester yesterday. I heard great things. Just real quick here. Are you aware of what's going on in Bucks County? Because our phone lines are lit right now as I speak, Cliff, with frustrated voters who are in line right now because of the extension that was given Bucks. Are you aware? I just want to make everybody aware of it.
Yep, 100% looped in. Scott Pressler is my eyes and ears on the ground. Cool. But look, we'll continue to track these things, continue to report them. I got to give credit to the RNC and Elon Musk for kind of setting up these hotlines.
Yep.
But to all your viewers out there, please continue to speak out. And we got to continue to expose some of this stuff. But we also have to vote.
Yes.
We have to vote. Okay, make a plan November 5th. Everybody, if we don't, Kamala wins. She could win this.
Yeah, she could. Shudder to think. Cliff Maloney Jr., thank you so much. Thanks, Cliff.
All right, y'all take care.
You too. Hey, we got it. And that's why, because I'm so busy, I'm working a lot, right? We're all working. You're busy. You want to get out the vote? Maybe you're stuck in a line. That's where What a Crock. It's percolating. My crock pot is simmering and percolating. Is that the right word? As I speak, because What a Crock saves my butt. Pretty much 3 times a week. Life is hectic, right? Your work, you're running around, the kids, everything. And so thankfully, I can still provide a homemade meal for my family. All I do, thanks to whatacrock.com, these easy to prepare meals make it so simple. Just literally plop one of their meals into my slow cooker in the early morning hours before I leave, go about my day. When I come home, dinner is simmering. Unlike most of these meal kit companies, by the way, there is zero prep required, and the cleanup is quick and easy. It's as simple, like I say, just you drop that meal into your slow cooker, voila, dinner is one and done. So I'm looking for fall comfort food, like I've said, the white bean chili. That's on the menu for tomorrow's tailgate. Delicious. I know, right? White bean chili. But that's because another mom is, and I don't know if hers is What a Crock. Do I have to say it's What a Crock?
I was going to say, do you show up and say that you made this?
See, I have to
because technically you didn't you put it into the crock pot.
I word it carefully. I say it's homemade.
That's a great way to do it.
See, so you could I can't get away with it because they're like, Dawn, I've already heard. I know it's What a Crock. That's okay. It's still delicious.
Commercials,
but you wouldn't have to. You know what I'm saying? Because it's homemade. Just not by me, but it's comfort food. It's delicious. And you got to check it out, whether it's a beef dish, like a homemade kind of a stew, the beef with the carrots, little potatoes. They're thinking, oh man, she was like cutting and dicing and doing all that stuff. But it's not processed. It's homemade. And that's what I love about it. Real good ingredients, real food. What a Crock meals also, they make a great gift. So maybe somebody who just had a baby, you want to send them What a Crock so they don't have to cook, the college kid in your life, or maybe you just want to send some love and comfort food to somebody who's across the country. Whatacrock.com is where it's at. Use promo code WPHT at checkout. You get $10 off your first order, at whatacrock.com. So it's WPHT. That's your code, $10 off, whatacrock.com. Dinner made easy. Order now, whatacrock.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Wawa's Hot Turkey is back, and it's bringing the comforting flavors of the season with it. Sink into savory stuffing, cozy up with sweet cranberry sauce, and relax into some warm, buttery mashed potatoes. Grab your pillows and blankets, because Hot Turkey is back. Plus, get your cozy cravings satisfied from the comfort of your bed with $0 delivery when you order on the Wawa app. Try the Wawa Gobbler today in a hoagie or bowl for a limited time. Gotta have a Wawa.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Kamala backed Biden on everything. She was the deciding vote for his disastrous economic agenda. Kamala and Joe raised taxes on the middle class, and prices soared. Kamala was in charge of his open border policies, giving welfare to illegals while Americans struggle. And their weakness invited wars. Now Kamala wants to double down on failure. It's time to turn the page on Joe and Kamala's failed agenda. President Trump fights for you. His strength kept us safe. Trump cut taxes for families. Prices were lower and the border secure. Now, President Trump can do it again.
And we are going to launch a new golden age of American success for the citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
Remember, Kamala broke it. President Trump will fix it.
I'm Donald Trump, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Donald J. Trump for President 2024 Inc.
At PGW, safety is essential to delivering clean, reliable natural gas to Philadelphia homes and businesses. If you smell gas, call PGW at 215-235-1212. Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by Advocacy United, this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that'll affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Calling on Percy to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app.
Download it now.
You know, I pulled up Donald J. Trump, right to try. And, you know, the first thing that comes up is Trump, pushed for right to try, but it hasn't really helped. Hasn't really made a difference. That's one of the mainstream media's. That's an out and out lie. If you listen to our callers, John had called, and it was a tearful interview. His wife diagnosed 2 years ago with pancreatic cancer, stage 4. She is alive today, and he says this is not about politics. It's about saving lives. That was something that Trump pushed hard for, and that brings us to my next caller. This is Dave in Trenton. Hey, Dave.
All right. Well, we're talking about cancer, right?
Yes.
Okay. My mother had ovarian, and she got off when stem cell first came into research.
Yes.
She got offered it. Like 20 people got offered it over here in Jersey, and Prudential wouldn't pay for it. And so those 20, like 19 of those people ended up living.
That's a miracle.
And Mel Stottlemyre of the New York Yankees was the pitching coach of the Yankees under Joe Torre back then. Mm-hmm. And he got it, and he lived. And my father-in-law had pancreatic, and it's a bad one.
Yeah, that's a very bad
1 year. Yeah, he got the last gift from my son. His first grandson got born like three months before he died. So,
Dave, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm so sorry. You know, your heart goes out to him with thinking about the fact that that's the miracle of right to try. Because with ovarian cancer, you rarely hear that people survive that pancreatic stage 4. And yet this is one of those things that Trump pushed for. Why? Because he loves the American people, just like he said. He cares. And he got everybody in the room together, got them to do this and make it work. And yet the mainstream media, I'm pulling up articles and they say, oh, yeah, Trump, 2018, they haven't really saved that many. It doesn't really statistically work out. Shame. Game of Thrones, shame on you, mainstream media malpractice. Let's get to Lou in Langhorne. Hey, Lou.
Hey, Dawn. Man, this is a really hard act to follow. Oh, my God. I'm the guy that told you years ago about my wife being you were talking about the
leukemia breakthroughs, and that they used my wife in her study down at the U of P. I don't know if you remember that, but she didn't benefit by it, but other people have. But that's not what I'm calling about. I've been a conservative since I came back from Vietnam, and I observed something about women who are true conservatives. They may be very beautiful, all right? That's fine. That's just a veneer. But what they have that I really don't find in liberal women, they have they're brilliant, they have great common sense, and they have class. You either have it or you don't, okay? You have it. Melania Trump has it. Alina Habba has it. I mean, I find this to be true because I look at a lot of different, newscasts, and it just has seemed to me that that's always been the case. And it adds something to you as a person and to the way that you're thought of. So that's what I think. I think conservative women, true conservative women, have great class, and it's not something you can develop. You either have it or you don't. And that's what I think. Well, Lou, thank you. What a beautiful message. Conservative women. I love it. Thank you, Lou and Langhorne. God bless. And I did remember your story about the leukemia.
It's a tough final hour.
It is, as we talk about right to try, and that's Trump. But that's the thing, I never know what you're going to say when you call in and you start this topic. And thank you, Steve, for starting that and reminding us of all of these great policies that Trump, he initiated. Nobody was talking. Think about, justice, social justice. He did more for social justice than anybody. They talk a good talk sometimes, but he actually put that in place. I'm telling you, that's why it's part of the reason the swamp fears him, because he comes in. You know who he owes? He owes we the people. That's it. We the people. And these are the kinds of things that he pushed for, not to line his own pockets. He's already a billionaire,
One final thing,
Yes.
Phil in Center City, I apologize we didn't get you, but he was going to ask if signs for political candidates are allowed on poles in the city. And I did find a thing from PennDOT. It says political signs cannot be attached on light or signal posts, guide rail, or other PennDOT traffic control devices, but I'm not sure about the other types of traffic devices, so I would suggest don't remove them or anything, but maybe file a complaint with your council person if you do see them up there.
Yeah, because they're everywhere.
They are.
They are literally everywhere. Thank you for joining us today. Just a great lineup. Started out with Kathy Barnett, talked to Alina Habba, and then our friend Cliff Maloney Jr. out there doing good things in the community, try to bring some good stuff for you. Dom Giordano is up next with just a stellar show for you. Rich Scioli, yesterday and today. And Chris, he was on with it. Chris goes, what the heck are you on it with Dawn at 11:30? I tune in. He was like busting his chops. So we love Rich Scioli, even though you're getting, I don't know, he's getting pretty famous. He's getting pretty famous. He's going national.
It's on Fox News all the time. It's great.
And Dom Giordano will be on 6 ABC for his brilliant analysis.
We'll be there this weekend, Sunday, Inside Story. Tune in.
Beautiful. Well, that's it for me. Have a blessed Friday. And go Patriots, meaning you, me, and my son's football team. Go Patriots.